Okay, yeah, I'm ready. I'm focused. I'm Dan Pruitt. I grew up in a church. I grew up going to church every week with my family. I loved going to church and hanging out. And I never understood, though, why we got baptized. I never understood a lot of the things we did as a church. When I was an early teen, we stopped going because of various church hurt reasons. And so as I got older, I still never understood why we did things like baptism. And so in my late 20s, when I found LifeGate, I started understanding a lot of things about what the church was and what mattered about it and why it was important. And one of the things that I finally understood was why baptism was important. The first summer that I was here, we actually did baptisms out in the park. And it was at that moment, on that day, that I actually saw why we did it. I understood what the purpose was. I understood why the community loved it. I understood what its value was. And I almost immediately thought, after having never been baptized my whole life, I want to be baptized. Like, this is awesome. But before I ever had a chance to actually think it, before I had a chance to really vocalize it, I immediately had this feeling of shame for no good reason. Shame I didn't even know I had, that said, no, it's too late. No, you should have done this already. You're 20 some years old and you've been a Christian for more than half of your life. You should have done this. From that point forward, I let the shame make up ridiculous reasons why I shouldn't be baptized. And so for 4 years, I just sat in the back and celebrated with people and saw how important it was and how valuable it was. And I was so excited when it happened. Like, I just waited for someone to ask me. And finally, Narupa asked, and I had to tell him the truth, which was, no, I've never been baptized. I've never even come close to being baptized. And so I finally had to be honest and talk about why I hadn't done it. After having that conversation with Narup later, I was able to vocalize and understand how stupid the reasons were, that they weren't real, that they didn't matter, that they were all just Satan trying to make me not be obedient, to get in my way, to make me feel something that God would never make me feel. I was able to step out of that, out of this shame, out of this ridiculous thought process that kept me from doing what God asked me to do. I just want to be obedient. I want to do what God called me to do, to be the person that He called me to be. And if I can't take that one step of obedience, then why am I even here? What am I even doing? So I'm so happy that I got to do it. And the best part being that I've never been part of a church that I loved more than LifeGate, and I'm so active here and I love being part of this family. And it's just another thing that I get to share with my family, another thing that I get to do to be part of LifeGate and truly be surrounded by people who know me and love me and want me to know Jesus better and want me to be obedient to Him. And it felt amazing to be able to do that and have the church celebrate with me and these people wrap their arms around me and just remind me how much I was celebrated and how much God loves me in this and how excited He is that I actually took this step instead of me waiting in the back and hoping that something changed and being ashamed of having not done it to this point.